You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily, and it's time now for us to delve into our communities to have a conversation on issues making headlines in our country, issues that are generating all kinds of conversations. Now, for some time now, there have been growing concerns about the increasing rate of fuel prices. Now, as a result, some transport unions are threatening increment in transport fares. We are going to be talking much about this conversation. My colleague, David Sechi, is out there, somewhere trying to look at the mood in our transport stations and generally how Ghanaians are feeling about this situation. But before we do so, Kwekwe Jama and some of the City Newsroom has put a report together on this issue. Let's take a look and we'll come back to have a conversation.
Social media was awash with pictures and commentary of yet another increment in prices of fuel products on Thursday night through to Friday. Consumers of fuel products, especially commercial vehicle drivers, were concerned about having to pay higher prices for the same quantity of product. Whilst other fuel pumps were yet to effect the adjustment of prices for the second pricing window in February, Total, a major brand in the fuel business, had pegged its price at 7 Ghana cedis 99 pesos. Many customers believe the continuous price adjustments will impact negatively on their finances. Some commercial drivers say the current situation has compelled them to park their cars and seek other job opportunities.
I'm a parking boss because we 3 days in the fuel and I'm a tar. Menamusa, Minubia, no fuel nasa. Fuel nisha. And the yesterday said, you see, I know fuel and there was so many before my and yes, I there. Nay, and Messia can't credit say I practice you are in me finally. Messiano.
Sometimes, how to even wake up and come to work is sometimes difficult. If not, we are catering for our family. Like you just, some of us too are even looking for another job to do.
Interestingly, fuel pumps with lower prices are cashing in, and this station at Dakuman is one of such places.
Price there, it really matters to the customers because let's say when it's even 10 pesos lesser, that's what they want. Right now, they don't matter about the quality. It's really the quantity that they want because they claim when they get more, they can do more with it.
So you say that sales has increased?
Yeah, for that one, it really increases the sales for us. When they are passing, they do watch the board. So when they see that your price is down, they just go and tell their friend, oh, Charlie, this place is down, or it's down. Then you'll be seeing a lot of cars coming here.
The trickling effect of the fuel price hikes is exerted on drivers, especially commercial ones, and in the long run, onto passengers. It is against this backdrop the Concerned Drivers Association, a driver union, wants to increase transport fares by 30% beginning Friday, February 18.
We have to pay from 26 cedis to 36 cedis, 10 cedi difference. Can we keep it? Are we not Ghanaians or we are slaves? We've increased it to 30%. And if they don't know how to calculate the 30%, let me show them how we used to calculate it. It's 130 divided by 100. Multiplied by the old fare, you get the new fare. Start paying it by tomorrow. We intended to take it by 12 o'clock, but it won't be fair on the passenger side.
But the Ghana Private Transport Union, GPRTU, a major stakeholder in the transport business, has an opposing view. Despite the frequent fuel price hikes, the oil marketing companies think the situation could have been dire.
The prices that you see around are not the maximum prices for us to get our margin. And the issue is you need to have a balance of how you price in such a way that you can pay your taxes, your levies, you can take care of your short-term obligations, then make sure that you also attract consumers without sacrificing quality.
However, passengers are not enthused about the expected increment.
The fare is going up. Every time it's going up. So it's affecting us too much because if I come and I buy my things, some of the things that I buy, I can't put it inside the boot. I have to buy a seat for it.
It's not going to help us at all, especially because I don't know what to do. I have not increased what I'm selling now. So if they increase the transport, it's going to affect me. It's going to affect my daily activities a lot.
right, so that was a report by Kweku Ejama Ansah. So now when you get to the transport stations, and you are being asked to pay more, I mean, you probably understand where this is coming from. As to whether that's the way to go, that is a conversation that we'll be looking at. Now I've been joined in the studio by City Breakfast Show's co-host, Kojo Akotobwate. Kojo, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Nice blue shirt. I like the shades of blue.
Yeah, we are in the month of love. My color of love is blue.
No, we know more. but, I mean, on a serious note, there are a whole lot of confusion out there. So some transport unions say they are going to be increasing transport fares because of the rising cost of fuel prices and fuel products. We've been talking about this. I remember you have been here, for us to have conversations as to how we can cut down on some of the monies that we, in quote, are wasting and how to salvage the situation. But this is where we still are, considering that, when you go on citybusinessnews.com, there's a story attributed to Henry Akwabwa, his former board chairman of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and so he explains what is going on and what can be done. But when you look at prices at the pumps are almost 8 cedis at many fuel stations in the country after starting the year at about 6.5 cedis per litre. Yeah. This is where we are.
It's sad, and it's a difficult time for a country like Ghana. First, transport operators. We have PROTOA, Progressive Transport Operators Association. Then there is GPRTU of TUC. And then there is Concerned Drivers Association. They are different. So last week, one group said they had increased their prices. And this week, we are getting a sense that generally transport costs will increase. Now, when transport costs increase, every other thing also will go up. Because we are primarily a market-driven economy. So the market woman also increased the price of their stuff. The shops, if you go to the shops, some of them have increased the prices. And so it's going to increase our cost of living. That's number one. I think one other area we are not looking at as a country with all these fuel price increases, that's going to come back to hit us big time, is also the utility space. Electricity tariffs have not been reviewed yet. Water tariffs have not been reviewed yet. Ghana is now doing almost more than 50% of our electricity from thermal sources, which is the same fuel, and the prices have gone up. So when that also comes up, it's also going to increase our cost of living even more. So these are some of the challenges that we should be looking at as a country. I'm looking at the trajectory of fuel prices since 2017. 1st January 2017, the fuel price was about 3.97 per litre. 3.97 per litre. Fast forward to 1st January 2022, and we're around 6.5, right? Yeah. 3.9, 6.5. Now we are almost at 8, so it's almost double over the period. Now, if you look at the period, nobody in Ghana has seen. Maybe there are some people who have seen a doubling of their salaries. But if you look at the regular average trajectory, nobody's salary has doubled. Yeah. Right? COVID came, a lot has happened to our earnings and our capacity to produce and earn more. Yeah. So this is a big thing. And I think that the government needs to sit down. We need to start asking ourselves the big question: is this sustainable for the country? Is this the way we want to go? I'll give you an example. The current transportation system we run, is it efficient and is it good enough to withstand the shocks of global fuel price increases such that we don't have to see this almost every 6 months if fuel prices globally are going to be volatile? Is it time to invest in mass transportation, for example, to reduce the stress on the citizen? Look, if you are doing efficient mass transportation, when fuel prices go up, there's still going to be a form of a buffer which won't see 30% increase here and there. Are those things we should consider? These are questions we must be asking ourselves. We should also be asking ourselves how to really deal with the fuel price increases going forward. What structures we can put in place as a country? Do we have strategic stocks that can even last us, say, a year or two?
You know,
so that when global fuel prices are increasing, we can fall on those to give us a buffer. There are so many questions that we need to answer as a country in the face of all these global volatilities, not just fuel prices. Fertilizer is also hitting us.
Yeah.
A lot of things are hitting us.
Yeah, so we'll come back, and delve deeper into that. But let's go over the phone lines and talk to the General Secretary of GPRTU, Godfred Abu-Bure. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Mr. Abu-Bure. If you can hear us, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Great. So, can you hear me loud and clear?
How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. Now, what is the situation? So we just need to know what GPRTU is doing now. Is there going to be increment in transport fares? Has there been an increment? What is the situation now?
The situation right now is that about last 3 weeks we had done a survey and submitted the document to the Ministry for Transport, and then for us to do further negotiations on it. Our survey concluded on about 30% increment lorry fares. And then this was incorporated in our document and submitted to the minister. We've held the first meeting, second meeting. Today will be the third meeting for us to arrive at whether the 30% or anything lower, that we all have to arrive with the consensus, and then we'll effect that. So today is going to be the last meeting that we are going to hold with the Minister for Transport.
So what has the engagement been like, for the 2 times that you have met?
We met the first time, and by that time, the minister had not seen the document we submitted to them. So he asked for a week to study it and then come back, and then we have some better information to discuss it. So we agreed and went back the last Monday. And then they were offering about 10% or 50% for us to increase our fares. We actually also instituted by the 30%. So took by the 30%, and then the meeting was then postponed to reconvene today for us to see whether we can all agree at a certain margin that we can increase.
Are there things that you are expecting to hear, just to avert you increasing transport fares?
Yeah, for now, what we have submitted is 30%. And looking at the situation in Ghana now, even if we take 30%, within the next few days, fuel prices will go up again, and we will not be able to come back again and ask for another lower fare increment. So these are the reasons why we have calculated all.
Mr. Abu-Bure? Right, so we seem to have lost... Okay.
Hello?
Right, so you're on the floor. Right, so we seem to be having some issues with his internet, so we'll try to re-establish contact with him. But Kojo, this is it. So his last statement, he says that from the look of things, there's going to be, in the coming days, another increment in fuel prices. And they cannot also be going back and forth, with just little by little kind of approach. So they are presenting a 30% increment. This is where we are right now. Now, you were talking about...
yes, strategic stocks
exactly.
And all that. For example, the United States government has a strategic reserve, which was planned or legislated to hold 1 billion barrels of oil. Now, they've got close to 600 million barrels of oil. They set this up when the Arab states that produced oil back in the 1970s decided to cut supply to the market when the US and other states supported Israel, right? Now they set it up to hold enough oil so that when there are disruptions like COVID came, price hikes and all those things, they can sort of cushion themselves a little bit. With the current global oil prices increasing, Biden, who is president, has to release 1 million barrels into the system to drop global oil prices. My thing is that in this country, we live hand to mouth too much, and we've been doing that since independence. But we are not a poor country.
We are not?
We're a country that has the resources and everything to make us almost self-sufficient. Now the question is, should the oil prices on the global market double as we speak? Do we have any strategic stocks to cushion the citizenry against the shocks of the price increment? Now, Russia, Ukraine, US, China, all these instability happening somewhere in Europe because of Russia. Should this escalate and the markets degenerate, how are we going to solve our problem? I think we are at a point where in Ghana we should be thinking about some of these things. When it comes to food, we hardly have enough food stocks. Fertilizer, we don't. Oil. And then whatever happens on the global market hits us big time. Meanwhile, we are a country of resources and
So hold your brief now. We have Mr. Bubri back online, and we're going to continue our conversation. Thank you very much for joining us again, Mr. Bubri.
Thank you, my dear.
Right, so I was finding out from you, is there anything, that government can do now just so that consumers will not have to pay so much for transportation?
That would have been a miracle, because this is a very, very key question we had asked from the beginning since last year, November. And then we have said that, why can't government actually stabilize the fuel prices? There are so many angles that they could apply. But government had actually reneged. So we think that we are now having the only obvious way to cushion ourselves, which is to increase our price. From last November, the fuel price was around 6.40 thereabouts. Like you said, as we speak now, it was 7.99, almost going to 8 cedi per liter. So we think that once government cannot actually do anything about the fuel prices, then operators will definitely have to ask for a fair increment. They have to be able to break even.
Now, how is this affecting your operations?
Sorry again?
How is this affecting your operations?
It's affecting seriously. It's affecting seriously. I don't know. I don't know whether you travel. You don't buy fuel for now. You buy fuel and then you have a car. You don't need anyone to tell you how much you are going to be affected when you buy fuel now at this high price. Vehicles that can normally buy fuel from here to Accra to Kumasi at about 100 Ghana cedis. Now we have to buy more. So vis-a-vis the income that they take, more than half goes into the fuel. And it's not only the fuel that we are trying now, but with all other lubricants. So we have very serious effect on our income.
So what are your expectations of today's meeting?
Well, our expectation is just about, the document we presented is about 30%, and the ministry gave us 60%. Last meeting we said no. So today we will speak on it and see. If we go to about 20-25%, then we will have to accept that and then start for now.
Wow.
Hopefully, yes.
Right. So we'll wait for you to finish the meeting and we will get back to you. But we honestly hope that we are not where we are right now. But thank you very much, Mr. Bubri, for your time.
Thank you.
Kojo, so this is it. I mean, from where they stand, the 30% is ideally, or maybe 25% is what they can do. Anything below that is a no-no.
And that means that a lot of people are going to have their cost of living go up, which is very sad. I am worried for Ghana, Frema. I'm indeed worried for Ghana. Now, you look at all the various components of our national security, and it looks like we are not a prepared country.
So what exactly is the problem? Is it mismanagement? Is it that we don't have what it takes? What exactly are we dealing with here?
I don't think our leadership has been visionary enough. If they've been visionary, I don't think they've been committed to execution. Some things have been said, some things have been just left at words, but we've not been good with execution. Now, look at this. Fuel is a commodity. The various food commodities and other things. Now, this week, or was it last week, CHAS and senior high schools, they say they don't have food. Poultry farmers complaining.
Yeah.
Everybody complaining. But my thing is that the things we need to provide those things that we need. Food is key to national security. Fuel is key to national security. Medical resources key to national security. The things we need for all those things are here. They are here. Producing enough food to feed Ghana won't take anything. And we did that analysis. If you take only 30% of the land mass of the Greater Accra region, which is the smallest region in the whole country, can feed Ghana. But we cannot feed ourselves properly. We know that we wanted to be an industrialized country right from independence.
Yeah.
And industrialization needs energy, oil resources, electricity. We set up Akosombo, then Pong, then the various thermal plants. We know fuel is a key resource. What is Ghana's strategic reserve? What legislation is pushing us to set up a strategic reserve that we can fall on should there be a global issue which will not allow us to even import oil into this country for even 6 months or 1 year?
Right, so we have the Executive Secretary of Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amoah, also joining us. Thank you very much, Mr. Amoah, for your time.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers.
Good morning. Now, why is the poor man on the street always the one at the receiving end of all these harsh conditions? Because it looks like now we may have to be paying extra for transport fares.
Well, Kojo does justice to the topic, and I'm inclined to identify with everything he has said. You live in a country where planning is actually a problem. So we plan for nothing. We saw these fuel price increases or surge on the international market way back last year, June. And if you go through publications on your own media, portal, I'm sure there will be many such publications where we've been warning that it's going to go up, it's going up. And we even did a projection outlook for 2022 that said it looks quite grim and prices could simply go up. There was one particular publication we did that said the government should do everything necessary to get bust to at least hold strategic stocks. Mind you, in 2020, at the height of COVID, the prices for both crude and finished products had declined so rapidly. It wasn't funny. We had moved from $580, $620 a metric ton to as low as $150 a metric ton, which meant that prices were very low. Crude prices had dropped somewhere below the $50 mark. And there were times we actually went to negative 37 for crude prices, if you remember, because the United States had exceeded their inventory. And so those who had placed orders would now need to pay suppliers to return the products. Those were very good times that Ghana, with a buffer, like you mentioned, the US decided in the 70s to have an Oklahoma cushioning, where they build, very large tanks to hold crude. You could hold crude for as long as 50 years. That is also scientifically known. And so they take advantage of sometimes the bearish sentiments when prices are low to stock up in anticipation of a time when prices will be higher. So if you contrast Ghana to the US, we seem to have similar facilities, similar arrangements. But when it comes down to putting them to use, the United States would have a lot to hold. We would have zero to hold because we do not even see the use. Mind you, Ghana as an oil producing country could have leveraged on our oil resource if indeed we wanted to manage prices at the pumps for our people. But look at the kind of petroleum agreements we also sign with the foreign oil companies. They come in, we sign everything to them and say, go sell, give us our percentage, and then when you make profit, you pay your corporate income tax and additional oil entitlements that is due us, you give to us. And that could explain why the only local refinery would continue to struggle even after we hit commercial production of oil in this country some 10 years ago. So clearly, the only challenge here is that we simply fail to plan. Even when we see certain advantages that we could easily leverage on, it doesn't come to us as an advantage that we should plan for. And so you have prices drop to $150 a metric. Most was left idle. Most will rather go into trading and holding strategic stock, for which we set Bost up for. And it doesn't look as though we are doing anything really differently. The sad reality, like you posited, is that the average Ghanaian on the street would have to bear the brunt of all of this. Sadly, GPRTU would increase. Your ministers, the Article 71 office holders, the big men in society, and their immediate families would hardly patronize the services of GPRTU. So when they increase, the effect will come back to the common man. The Article 71 office holder would have fuel allocations, and that will be where our focus should be at this point. Kojo, if in a year gone by, you have to fuel the security agencies, i.e. the police, the military, the Navy, and everybody, to be able to provide security both within and without. You could imagine what the cost on government is when fuel prices go up. If, let's say, in a year you spend 500 million to provide fuel for the police, for our parliamentarians, for the judiciary, office of government machinery, ministries, departments, agencies, because it was 5 cities, let's say, a litre. If the government pays 500 million to fuel, these vehicles, if it goes to 8, it would simply be an escalation on government expenditure. But the government itself seemed not to realize this. Again,
so Duncan, what exactly is the issue here? That government is not realizing the situation on the ground, that government is bereft of ideas, that government is not committed in salvaging the situation, or the hands of government is entirely tied because of some agreements we've entered to with foreign oil companies?
Well, Frema, if you put the two together, you'll probably be getting, a response that the government doesn't have the words to exist. We've sent several memos to the finance ministry detailing the need to apply some of our windfall revenues. When I talk of windfall, I'm talking of the fact that as an oil producing and exporting country, Ghana, you also get a certain advantage, commercial advantage, anytime crude prices go up. And so when we hear world market prices have gone up, it is not all negative for Ghana. There's some advantages to be derived because you are also producing and exporting out there. The revenue benchmark you would derive when crude is at 50, it is not the same when crude is at 90, 95. You will get more. If in your 2022 budget, you did a revenue projection of $62.5 per barrel to support your budgetary expenditure, what it means is that if it goes to 72.5, you are gaining a $10 per barrel revenue advantage. If it goes to 82, you are gaining 20. If it goes to 92, you're gaining 30, right? Should we have a situation where finance ministers only are revenue mobilization agents and not managing finance properly? Because if you need to manage finance, you would look at the cost and effect of the two. It is going up on it market. My revenue side, I will gain. What is the likely effect? The expenditure for 2021, which was 97 billion. The following year, 2022, you need to move up to 137 billion. Of course, the cost of paying your loans will be in there, but also inherent in the 137 billion is the cost of fuel. Everything. The food basket would go up. The cost of providing housing will go up. The cost of running your health, infrastructure will go up. The cost of operating your educational facilities would go up. UTAG will come and demand more because clearly what you give to them today, if they need to even just provide fuel for themselves and their immediate families, the money would go. So there is a direct effect of deriving these optimum revenues from that have gone up. Also, from the 6 cedi 50 that it was at the beginning of the year to now 8 cedis. Government will need to spend more because it is the single largest consumer within the economy. But because that money is not immediately coming from somebody's pockets, like when Kojo goes to buy today at the pumps, if last week he spent 200 and now he has to spend 250, he sees the impact immediately. But for government and its functionaries, it will take sometimes a whole year cycle for them to realize that indeed things have gone up. Those building your road infrastructure, they can no longer accept probably the 1 million they used to accept a year on when fuel was around 5 cedis, right? You cannot pay them the same 1 million when it's at 8 cedis. So they will charge more for roads. They will charge everybody providing any essential service for government will come and demand more.
Right.
The interesting thing in 2021, when we made those windfall gains, but look at your lines. It moved from 97 billion to now 137 billion, 40 billion difference.
Right, Duncan. Hold on for me. We're going to take a short break. Now, when we come back, I want you to be telling us, the GPRTU is going into a meeting with the sector minister today. If this would mean anything, would it change something? Or in your view, you think that the situation as it stands now is beyond redemption? This is Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back. You're welcome back, and it's still live on Breakfast Daily on City TV. Here in the studio, I still have Kujakutu Boateng, and also on the line, I have Duncan Amwa, who is Executive Secretary of Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC. Now, before we went on a break, we've been having a conversation about the increase in fuel prices and the possible increment in transport fares. My co-host, David Sechi, is out there, in the capital somewhere, also engaging Ghanaians on what to make of all these developments. Kweku, I was just going to say Koju. Kweku, if you can hear me, where exactly are you and what is happening?
Yes, Prema, good morning. I can hear you loud and clear, and I'm at the Circle station of the GPRTU station right here at Circle. And we've been talking to some drivers this morning, and trust me, the drivers are very, very angry. A lot of them don't want to speak on camera because they say that it goes to nothing. Every time they talk, every time the TV cameras come, the TV, lenses come around, they talk and nothing happens. This morning, I spoke to a few of the executives. They said that they are declining to speak to us because this morning they have a meeting with the minister. And so they are preparing to go for that meeting. So for them, it's not proper that they should speak to us before they go for the meeting. So they're heading to the meeting now. But the drivers are just angry and they don't want to talk to us. But we have a driver who is willing to speak to us. You want to come over, speak to us, and so he will talk to us, and we'll find out what it is that they feel. Good morning.
Fine morning.
What's your friend saying?
From Kwesi, Ami.
Kwesi, inti anapawe adantina driver for duduna won bofu say won kasa ewo TV so.
What he say yes kasa yehuso. ombakasa sa still na lord friend we be gina na gina nti o mo ankasa kura na wa ha no ho ani nti obi am person we ro bakasa no ba reason adebachi bia no matum adebachi bia no matufo ye ni ba still lord friend ye hu so na koto piota ya atum de otu engine ya atum spare part ya atum jo organizer kura na opon pitai ko je 1 cd kura no and e cost 2 cd ba lord friend no still ye gina ya nam enti ni ye hu enti asna wa pemfo mo hwe mo ye lord friend hu bibi mfa me he eno an ye hia keke yeso ye won yire na ma enti se wo batu petrol na batu pure water batu bibiam na ko ulo market ya tutu nyamem na se ye ntu lord friend ma na ye drivers na ye wo man ma ye adwuma no ye adwuma ndai yeso ye can say government can say government government work and private work near here and to say government work na say private work na say unto lord friend mu my ha na your man yen kan bia na nti yen kan bia mo kan kire he yen say drivers na your man yen kan man hu bi anu aye bi saza ya de man payfo no
It's who from circle to where and who drive?
Me run circle to Library Camp Kaswa.
Circle to Library Camp. Okay. And Sisiano fair no at the saying.
Kaswa fair na 570.
570 pesos. Okay. It's ahina who expect to say wo tuma ebeko.
Oh, say tu ko 6.5 krana. 30% I saw what my hair. 30% na what to so asa. And one person mo yama hair.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Now, and I pay Mino Casa Eliana. Now, as a work for Kakapa, Okasa TV Sonia, dear. Chechemut Mae, what is the reason for the anger? Why don't you want to talk?
I dare person, yeah, can I say? Sisiano, young drivers, ya brepa. Sisi Ajumakura Yinya. And I say, fair no, Ako high. And I say, yes, Sisina Yanoso, Sisina Ko high. And the Emma. Se ye pon de ye de beto bi anikwa ye nya se sia o yere na se wuntumi yi chopon ni pepepe ni bu befu wo yere baka se bu a friend wo twempra na se wo ye bibi sa na de tsa enti se fe no e ba ne se what to fe no so ya de se wo to so no won fa nto so ma entam na so ye ho ntoye ade ya tisia no wo koto ne da me koto ta ba ko pe 350 enso ka fe se 250 say say ye ko won ato so anti ye sere abano say adibi sisa mo de aso wo boy.
Okay, it's one bisa it is say 30% ye de to so a ye fan say within the next she say petrol ye be 7.99 something. It is say what is 30% eto so mawa. What do you think say in the next 6 months say petrol no could do them fan say 85 nyame mpengu say bedusa what will happen to your increment
say the actually say petrol ya batu so ese hye lolo fe no omudi ba enti say ene ya batu petrol ade kina ya batu petrol so ese omudi lolo fe no so ya santo ya de ba na wo batu petrol so won for lolo fe no man na to a woto so no woto so ayde ana ya drivers ni enti o man na ya na ties na say dey ya no woni kaka ya ase minamisa kiti that time musanu let me say some motor petrol ma we be say almost sell all fan na ye lol fan abant ade ba ti no motor petrol boko na ya to petrol lol fan so ya dai abadada ba na mi ni bodu say no ade ba ti na ba so na ya to petrol ade ba ti ba so na ya to petrol lol fan so e ma na ye drivers ye yin pan ye nka wa na ye so ye to abani ye to bi ye to abani bi enti ye sna wona won hwe no ye de won ye lol fan mu bi ma ye na ni tell me motor lol fan me o make sure there o ma ye de o ma to I fan so someone to petrol mo to fan so asa de shanin
now good morning. I was saying first saying
but you very question what have been
okay now also what drink anything
okay my drink is I petrol no omutuma eh drivers no omo ka hwe ntia since I want to petrol 3 times I roll fair no nada console ya so bandama every is a wo do wa cycle na wo kaswa wo ba wo ye bi ma wo ye bi ma anti o say roll fair no wa hwe na wo tum na ya so ye kwanyim kaka na ya so drivers no ye koman hu madwe no
na pacho let me finish with you So the question that I'm be say you 2 months here when you 30%. Now in 6 months time, Petrono Asako Subium. He what I want to say every time a beer year to petrol mono, yes, and to feel prices move. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, your penny, sir. Say 20 pesos crown or better to share. About why chain say want to sukra. Yes, I may yashi, and they high. Tom Modianso, or 2 petrol super, or also 20 pesos to cry, 10 pesos to cry. One fan to send a bear, young drivers, you bet more for him. Am I a bread? Your brepa.
All right, so we've been speaking to some drivers here at the GPRTU station. Now I have a young man here who looks like a commuter. Are you a passenger?
No, yeah, I'm a passenger.
Okay, so where are you going?
I'm going to Dakuman.
Dakuman. Yes. What's the usual fare from Circle to Dakuman?
Right now they take 3 cities. They used to take less than that, but now it's been increased to 3 cities.
Okay, so they are also agitating that the prices should go higher, even more than the 3 cities now. An extra 30%. With 30% means roughly about 1 city is going to be added to your 3 cities. Okay, so how do you feel about that?
Honestly, it's going to be a huge problem for the drivers and both the passengers, because right now the system is very hard. Everybody is complaining. So if the increase is by that percentage, it's not going to help, because every day fuel has been increased, and so the moment fuel increases too, then the transport, the fare also will increase. So we are just begging the government to do something about it, because it's really not helping both the drivers and the passengers at all.
But do something like what? Because they say that it's external forces, the oil market prices are going up and all of that, and they are saying that it's not something that they can do anything about.
I'm still sure there's something they can do about it. Honestly, I'm still sure. So what I would say is the government should put a lot of things in place that will help to reduce the fuel prices, because the fuel prices is too high these days, that the passengers and the drivers, everyone is complaining. So yeah, I'll just plead to the government once again that if there's something they can do about it, they should just go ahead and do about it.
Thank you very much. What's your name, please?
I'm Paradise.
Paradise, thank you very much for speaking to us. All right, so that was the gentleman there, Paradise, sharing his thoughts as a passenger who travels from Circle to Dakuman every day, and these are his experiences that he has on a daily basis as he does his movement. I've been joined by another gentleman, and all right, so good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Pacho, your first say?
Osei Kwame.
Okay, now Pacho, station hano then our yewa.
Station master.
We are station master. Okay, as a station master, no, how do you feel about the fact say debia that ubehwe na fuel no sura na eko, but as a prices no and said that mo fair no and said that cost sir.
The woman says about not to lot of money. The fuel what to musa da for your pom nyawe. Tom kasa and then Monday go and say number 2. The Friday and half for the day was I someone to was. Na really chairman kasa. The day chairman mo kasa to from da for on the water wakra.
Say and pay for no eco meeting. Na meeting no expectation ben na wo say ebe free meeting no aba.
The ebe free say me say am so mo kasa to fair dum.
Okay, inti you first say Circle to Dakuman. Gentleman we kasa say 3 cities. How much will you be charging after the new
fare? Coming to me, I say everybody 4 cities and I pay 35. Into me, you pay for guy or 3 cities money 35. And I be 4 cities money 45. Maybe 5 cities money 55. Maybe 6 cities 65. You pay for say. O man can anything for penny.
Now, who feel say after the meeting today, say new fares not back out. Makuma beto mu yembi bia be okay.
Everybody.
Let's look at the next never say 6 months time. 6 months time. Say petrol no the air does cost through. Efusa, what will happen to your fares?
Say 2 months na omo 2 million e 2 months say petrol no. No boy dey. Fair to petrol 50 Ghana cost spenders ba wanasa. Say spenders 50 Ghana dey come back. What about 60 Ghana 70 Ghana in out. Do how you man oboka. You can say boy dey, tie boy dey, spring boy dey. You boy dey. This guy na come so kan. Ndi aba no man koso kan mai. De pele yin wan no.
That's it. That's be brave. But you wouldn't be.
Osei Kwame.
All right, so we've been speaking with Osei Kwame, who is a station master here at the Circle Station there on GPRTU. Frema, so these are some of the thoughts sampling across the board. Passengers speaking, a couple of drivers speaking, the station master himself speaking, and they are not happy about the situation.
David, so we'll come back to you later.
Yes, Frema.
Kojo, so you've heard what some drivers are saying as well as passengers. So this is the situation. You can sense a bit of hopelessness in there because people don't know what to do. And honestly, I don't know what is going to come out of the meeting. Will they be asked not to increase fares? Will they be asked to do?
It would be unfair for anybody to ask drivers not to increase fares. If you look at the system, if they don't increase fares, it means that their earnings are also being eroded. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know whether there is a way to give them a cost of living allowance in the system we run. There have been times that public sector workers have been given cost of living allowance. If you don't have any way to show that them, you also will be unfair to them to say they cannot increase it. And so this is where we are as a people. If you earned, say, 1,000 cedis in January, right, and you owned a car, and you are filling your tank for, say, 300 cedis, now you are doing 400 cedis.
And the salary is still the same.
And your salary is still the same. So it means that the 100 cedis is gone just like that. One of the drivers said something, which I tried to explain in the initial part of the conversation. You see the traffic in the city, and why and how we don't treat traffic as a lifestyle problem and economic problem. It's also one of the reasons. He says if he moves from Kaswa to Accra, he'll be in traffic to Accra. By the time he goes back, he's spent all his fuel and all his day moving from Kaswa to Accra and back. Now, if we looked at some of the bottlenecks, we don't even need some wild engineering to fix the traffic. I will say this. We just need consistent law enforcement, consistent education, and a few other strategies to reduce the traffic. Now, if this driver, because Kaswa to Accra really is just 30 minutes.
Yes.
It's just 30 to 45 minutes because the distance from Kaswa to Accra is just about 35 kilometers.
And
so if you're doing 60 kilometers per hour,
you
should be able to do it in 30 minutes with no stops. So if we dealt with the traffic, a lot of the waste in the system will be eliminated. I tell myself that my cost of fuel is 30 Ghana cedis per liter. And when I say that, people say I'm exaggerating. You see, the cost at the pump is 7 cedis 80 pesos or 7 cedis 90 pesos based on where you're buying it from. But the cost of using it and the waste, if I buy 7 cedis 90 pesos and it has to take me for, say, 10 kilometers, it's taking me for only about 1.5 kilometers because of the traffic on my road. Because you will need the police to be there all the time to help deal with the indiscipline. We need NCC, for example, to also go out to educate people to do the right thing. And all this waste is being borne by us and is being borne by the economy. So if you look at, if we spent about $1 billion a year bringing in fuel, I can assume and estimate that about 40% of that goes waste, which is cost to the states. Because we are burning a lot of time. Look, if they can put the camera to I'm seeing you, so right behind you, what do you call it? Graphic road, traffic. So a distance that people should cover for, say, Fiesta Royale to Accra Mall. Fiesta Royale to Accra Mall.
You just don't want to be there.
1 or 2 kilometers. But I can do 1 hour in that traffic and burn fuel. So that is waste and cost to the economy. It's not just cost to me. It's also cost to the economy because if I'm saving that money, I would probably invest it in a maize farm or a cashew farm or something. So I'm investing in production, which will employ people, which will result in food being produced, which will be food we will eat. So I expect our leaders to sit down, right, and connect all the dots. So fuel prices are increasing. What will be the net effect on the economy? This, that. What can we do to reduce the effect of the global fuel price increase?
But you think they don't know all these?
If they know and they are not doing it, then it's abroni beye.
Maybe we should be looking at that because
the oath they swear is to make our lives better. So if they know all these things and they are not doing it, then it means our leaders don't care.
So let's go on the line if Duncan is still on. Hi, Duncan. Right, he is not there. So Kojo, what I want us to look at right now is, I mean, when you listen to a politician speak, you hear all these kind of ideas. I mean, what they want to do. If people
I've not heard it though.
No,
Maybe
if people are in opposition, you know, they seem to have answers to all our problems. But it's so confusing that when they have the power to do that, we don't seem to see anything effectively being done. So where we are right now, is it a state of nothing can be done? It's a hopeless situation.
The trajectory we are going on as a country means that your son, my son, by the time they are age, there will not be any better life for them. The trajectory we are going on as a country, now? If it's not abated, right, it means that your son and my son, by the time they are ages, there will be nothing for them.
But do you see any light at the end of the tunnel?
There's light and there are opportunities. Like I say, for example, we are dealing with fuel prices. We've got our own oil fields.
Yeah.
We should now sit down and start asking ourselves, how can we use our oil fields to our advantage, right? We should now sit down and ask ourselves, the sunlight that God gives to us 24/7, how can we use this sunlight to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels? We should be asking ourselves, the water bodies that we have that we are polluting, how can we turn them around to help us? For example, we can use agriculture to produce so much food to feed ourselves and export and earn more money. And whatever returns we are getting from agriculture's windfall, we use it to set up our own strategic fuel stocks if we are not producing enough.
So you see, this brings me back to my question.
Then,
so is it that
we work on reducing the waste in the system?
So is it that our leaders don't know what you're talking about? They don't know that Ghana has arable land that we can produce so much to feed ourselves and export.
We know
they don't know.
We know they know.
So what is the issue?
But they are just being poor at governance and development.
So is it that they always want the easy way out, or they just simply don't care?
We have allowed them to have the easy way out. That's how come in 2024, whoever will be the NPP's leader will tout a lot of these things that we've wasted money on as achievements, and their followers will hail them. Whoever will be the NDC's leader will tout whatever they did as achievements, even though it was, look, NDC, MPP. If NPP spends 1 billion cedis on anything, if NDC spends 1 billion cedis on anything, the actual returns we get usually around 200 million.
So is it that we are the problem? We the people are the problem because we seem to be hailing them on?
I think we too are a problem. I think we need to sit down. We need to be analytical as a people. We need to ask deeper questions. We need to probe. We don't need to give our leaders the easy way like they get all the time. And for me, I've been saying this, and people have taken me on. I don't care. I didn't vote in the last election because I didn't think that any of the people who came up in the election deserved our votes.
Yeah.
Because we invest so much in them, and they invest so little in us when it comes to the returns. The argument they make is that it's social service and it's governance is social service. So if you are investing a lot of the, it's not like what do you call it? A capitalist industry where you must expect profits. But the profit we want to see is in the betterment of people's lives.
Absolutely.
So if you are putting 1 billion cedis in something, 2 billion, 3 billion, 500,000, 1 CD in something, and our lives are not changing, and we compare, and we are always suffering. We don't see. Look at all the basic things that we have to deal with as a country. We don't see any improvement in anything.
Have we failed?
We are failing. I can't say that we failed at all, but we are failing because I think that look at Ghana. We our landmass, right? The water we have, the number of water bodies we have in this country. Last week or last 2 weeks, or was it 3 weeks, we were talking about water shortage.
Yeah, not long ago.
We have known about the challenges of Galamsey for years, but I do not see NDC, MPP sitting down and saying this is a national problem, so let's fix it together. They just play political games with us. We have known that we need to increase our power production capacity in this country for years, so that if we are going on the industrialization agenda, everybody will have power for domestic use, for recreational use.
Our time is up, but in one sentence, what can be done or nothing?
Something can be done.
Okay, in 30 seconds.
Let's look at cutting down on the wastes.
Okay.
Traffic, deal with traffic so that people buying fuel will not feel the effect as much. Let's look at having strategic stocks in this country. And let's look at how we can use whatever other avenues to increase production and productivity in the country to earn us more money, to start turning our lives around.
Right.
And this
right.
is not something we should do in 100 years. 5, 10 years can change our fortunes and make you comfortable and give our children the best future.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kojo. So this is the conversation we've been having. So depending on how the meeting goes between GPRTU and the sector ministry today, we may be paying more at transport years. So just so you know, and keep yourself updated according to what is happening. This is Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back.